Okay, so you're welcome back to the back draft of our palazzo or bootcut, right? Whichever one you're making, the procedure for the back is the same. Whichever one you're making, the procedure is the same. This is my palazzo cut here we did in the previous video, and here is the bootcut that follows, right? So we want to make the back, like I said, be it a palazzo, be it a straight trouser, be it boot cut, whichever, the back remains the same procedure, right? So let's trace out our boot cut here for the back. You just want to give a little space here at the top here, right, up to 2.5 inches, depending on which kind of trouser you're making. If your waistline is sloped, you want to give up to 2.5 here, but if it's a straight waistline for a high waist trouser for the front, you want to give like 1.5. That is what you're going to need there, right? But in this case, I'll be adding 2.5 to my back. You're going to see all of that, right? So you have it this way, and you fold your fabric just about, for the back, you just need to fold it about 3.5 inches more than the fold you did on the front, right? Remember that our front fold was supposed to be 13 inches, right, gotten from the thigh. So 3.5 added to that gives me 16.5 inches. So if this fabric for my back is up to 16.5 inches wide around this region here, I am good to go, right? So if you have done that, fold your fabric, place some weights on it, or use your pin, whichever, just to make it to be stable like this. And then you want to do this adjustment to get your back, right? Simply on the side, we won't be doing any adjustments. We'll be tracing it exactly, right, like this. Just tracing it with the front, be it a normal trouser, be it whichever, you are tracing like this, right? So we'll be cutting just by the side, the same way with the front here, even to the base here. The adjustment for the back comes around the inseam here at this section here, right? So you want to go to your ankle and you add 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches all the way to the knee area. And then from the knee to the thigh, you will now add either 3 inches or let's say 3.5 for someone who is big. And when I mean big, I'm talking about a hip of 42 above, right? Even for 42 inches hip, you can still use your 3 inches, right? So, but then just to be on the safe side, because they are a big size, you can go for 3.5. So please get those points clearly, right? Now, this is my crotch depth line, straight, traced out straight to the back like this. For that of the back to connect, you're going to come down by ½ inch. I stated this in the previous video and I'm doing it again, right? This is where we'll be connecting our curve for the back, ½ inch lower than that of the front. That is because we use 3 or 3.5 inches here, right? If you are doing this in actual practice, if you don't drop down by ½ inch, when you are joining your inseam of the front and the back, you will realize that that of the back will be longer than that of the front. So by experience, we have decided to be dropping down by ½ inch, right? So then you go to your hip area and onto your waist here, and you also add 2 inches, right? And then this is going to extend up. I said at this point, since I sloped to the front by 1.5 by 1 inch, I'm going to be raising up here by 2 inches or 2.5. Remember, we sloped down the front waistline by 1 inch. So I'll be adding 2 inches or 2.5, depending on how big the person's backside is, right, to this. So I want to go for 2 in this case, which you will now connect to the waistline here, right? You have to connect it here because at the side seam, there must be of equal length, like this. At the side seam, there must be of equal length because at the end of the day, you are joining your front and your back together. So at this point, there must be equal height here, right? Why? To connect your curve here, to get a very nice curve, I said you should come in straight by at about 1.5 or 2 inches straight on this line before you now connect here, right? And this goes here, and that goes to your waist, right? Straight up here like this. Remember, we are bringing this down like so, right? So you want to have this straight like this, and then before you curve like this, right? So it is very important to get this shape here. You don't just curve like this. You don't just connect like this. No, 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 no. It's going to give you a baggy effect at this point here, right? So you have it like this, and then of course we can proceed to do the other connections. We have this to our knee like so, and then from knee to the base there, 2 inches, right? So this is what you're going to do whether you're making a palazzo, a bootcut, or a normal straight trouser, right? So let's cut it out quickly and put some weight on it to stabilize it like this. So you're cutting here just beside the front to give it equal shape here. While at the inseam we added 2 inches at some point and 3 or 3.5 at some point there. So this is my 2 inches. While here we change to 3 or 3.5. Remember, we step down by ½ inch here, come straight a little bit, and then you curve up, right? And for those asking, this back body here contains your dart allowance, a little dart allowance for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Inside of this 2 inches added here, we are going to use a little bit of it for dart allowance, right? Just a little here, about ½ inch picking off of that, right? Like so. And your dart should come in up to 4 inches, right? So this is how to draft the back of a trouser, right? So now keeping